So, for tonight I'm making some okra, and the okra are these little things here. If you're not familiar with them, they are very mucilaginous, and they're very alkalizing, so they're really good for you. But by mucilaginous, I mean that if you cook them quite a bit, they become a little mucilaginous. I think it's a better word than saying they become a little slimy. They just make a nice thick broth, and they're really excellent to use in soups because they thicken the soups and they give it a really nice texture. So I'm going to slice these lengthways, and you can see they've got the little seeds in them that have the the little seeds. So I'm going to go like that. Generally, I usually cut them, in little slices, but this time I'm going to do it like this and kind of try and make them like green beans, which I have never tried before. So we'll see how that turns out. Okay, so this is the kind of thing that you want to stay away from is individually slicing anything because it just wastes so much time. I'm just going to cut that one in half because it's a little long. So you do want to kind of line them up like carrots, and just tap your knife so that all the heads are in a line. Get rid of it like that, and then get some kind of speed going on here, just making sure that you don't cut yourself. But you can see that usually that goes much faster than cutting individually. So I don't know if I'm going to use all these because I think I'll save a few for soup, so I think that will be enough. Okay, just gives you the idea of how to see. They're kind of sticky, right? The little heads are trying to stick to everything. I'm just going to move these here. I'm going to add a little bit of red pepper to it. And I have a little pot of water here on high. Whoops, it was supposed to be on high. It was on high. Because you want your pot really hot with just a tiny bit of water. The less amount of fluid that you have in your frying pan, the faster things are going to cook. You just want a little bit of fluid in there so that things don't burn. So again, just a little bit of peppers here. Just going to add that to it. This one looks a little big. Kind of uniform, slices and things. And I might need just a little bit more of that just to give it even color. There you go, one more. I'm going to add a little bit of mango and just slice my mango here. And I know that there is probably a better way of peeling your mango. This one's not quite ripe. I know this method works a lot better if it's totally ripe, but it's really not quite ripe, so I'm just going to struggle with it a little. And I'm sure there are many of you out there that have a way better way of, that's a pepper, of slicing mango and peeling mango. But I have not seen that, so I'm just making things up as I go. So there's your mango. Probably that's, it might not be enough. You do want to have the mango flavor in there. So I'm just going to add a little bit more. See if this side peels any better, easier. A little bit, not really. It is a little unripe. Whoops. I don't know. I'm going to have to actually look on the internet and see if I can find another way of peeling mangoes. Okay, for our purposes, this is good enough. Okay. I also have here a few hazelnuts, and you don't really have to cut them because they soften so nice, when they're added with water and a little bit of heat. But I just thought I'd cut them up a little bit. So this is going to add your protein. Ideally, you want a handful of protein per person. And this is just a small dish, so that's just about enough protein. A lot of your vegetables do have protein too. So you don't always need to get it from the nuts. So you can see how this is coming along here. And like I say, the longer you cook your okra, the slimier it's going to get. I'm going to add a little bit of garlic for zest. And I do have a really good garlic crusher, but this happens to be a really lovely, easy to work with garlic. So that's just my dog running in, all excited. Okay, so I'm going to cut this garlic up, and like I say, I usually do use a garlic press, which I love, but for some reason this is what happens today. Okay, a little bit bigger chunks of garlic. And you can see that by having high heat on, it starts cooking right away. And so, just adding that. And you really do want things to be as raw as possible, really. Okay, so I'm going to add just a tiny bit more water to that because it is starting to stick a bit. And that okra does thicken right up. Okay, a little bit of water. And while that's coming along, I'm going to add a little bit of black pepper. I always like adding a little maple syrup. I don't know, it just brings out just a tiny bit of sweetness, and that wasn't even a teaspoon. Celtic sea salt. Again, not a whole lot. And then you can see that getting really quite lovely without dumping it all over the stove to show you. Okay, so I'm just going to leave that on high for a couple more minutes until it's done. And I think a thought came to me. And that is to add just a tiny bit of coconut oil for a bit of a glaze. So that's like about a tablespoon. Doesn't want to come loose. There we go. Okay. Give that a quick stir just to show you, and that's it. You could almost just turn that off and then serve. Get that coconut melted. There you go. Okay, I'll take a better picture, and you can find that on georginasear.com. Alrighty.